Hey everybody, it's Steven again, and I've got a new team for you here. This is a best of 3 series that a friend and I played a couple days ago, just for fun. Threw together a couple of teams. Here's the team that I built. This is a Doctor Strange burn team. It centers around Doctor Strange, Master of the Mystic Arts, and says whenever he is active, each time you use an action die, he deals 2 damage to the character or opponent, so I can choose where the damage goes. So I have potion in there. I put the 4-cost potion, but I actually, in this, I ran the 2-cost potion that gives fast. So a lot of action buys and that sort of thing. A lot of fun. So here's my turn 1. I got to go first, so I rolled 2 bolts and a mask and a question mark. I'm going to Red Dragon Global and buy a magic missile right away. Every time I use one of those magic missiles, I'm going to get to deal him 4 damage to my opponent, or I can do 2 to something and 2 to something else. Here's my opponent. His name is Cevin. He and I sat down and played 2 really fun, really exciting best of 3 series. This is the first of 2. Here's his team. He's running a Flying Sidekicks team, which is a really fun team that he put together. I think the biggest card in this is that Foot Ninja. Ninja Syndicate. It is it gets huge in Flying Sidekick teams. I think it's now the linchpin of really all Flying Sidekick teams. And so hopefully he's gonna buy that a lot and early, and it's gonna come at my face attacking me with the Foot Ninja. So he fields a sidekick on his first turn here, and he's gonna pay 2 for one of those Injection Fairy Lilies and pass priority over to me, where I'm going to PXG twice for 3 dice, and it doesn't look like he's going to attack with his first sidekick there. So Flying Sidekicks teams I've played a decent amount against. I've actually never played a Flying Sidekick team before this day. I played one later on in the day, but I know that I'm going to have to expect a lot of attacks from a Flying Sidekick team. That being said, I do know that I need to I need to buy a Doctor Strange here soon, early, so that I can deal him a lot of damage. With a Flying Sidekick team, in this case, at least with my thinking with this team, I just need to race it out. I need to be a little faster and just get to the 20 damage before he does. So I'm going to buy up the magic missiles using a Red Dragon for one of them, pinging out a sidekick for the other with the blue eyes. So I have all 3 magic missiles in used. Let's see if I can get any of those next turn and roll them. So he PXG'd over 2 dice, means he's rolling 6, and he'll go ahead and move on to his turn. So he rolls another sidekick, which he'll probably want to keep. Let's see what he does with it. He may think about what he looks like he has there. He might bolt it out. So he's going to have a sidekick. He's going to be able to discount something by 2. 2 sidekicks. Plays the 2 sidekicks. He's going to pay a bolt, knock out one of those sidekicks to reduce the cost of, let's see what he buys. He's going to buy a Save Civilians with a mask of his. I wonder what he's going to do with that fist. He's going to pay 2 and pick up an Alfred. So I'm going to go ahead and PXG 4 dice over. I'm going to put it all in the bag and redraw. Let's see what I get. Whoa, I end up getting all 3 magic missiles on turn number 3. Roll them up, and then they all 3 come up as 2 generic energy sides. It's pretty crazy. So I decided to re-roll a couple of dice. End up with this as my energy. So I can definitely buy a Doctor Strange now. 2, 4, 5, 6. For a Doctor Strange, put him in the used pile. Then I'm going to buy 2 of these 2-cost potions. Now I showed you a picture of the 4-cost potion in the team, but I actually decided that I wanted to try the 2-cost because it was just cheaper and easier to get. So I paid 4 for 2 2-cost potions. He PXG'd, and then he's going to refill his bag. Draw it up, shake it up, and roll. So he has a Save Civilians, but he's got an Injection Fairy Lily and no civilians to use it with. So not exactly an ideal situation to keep the save civilians. He's going to toss it over there. It's not going to do anything. And he puts out an Injection Fairy Lily, paying 2 after that to buy an April. And this is the April that gives +1A to a sidekick when she's fielded. Then he's going to swing at me, and I, of course, am going to have to take that damage. Not before I get to PXG. And I'm going to take all of 4 damage, dropping me to 16. Alright, already moving on to my turn. I've got 2 in the bag, got to redraw everything. Let's see if I can get Doctor Strange out there, if I can draw him. No, I get 2 potions. Shaking them all up. Nothing to use those potions on, no reason to give anything fast, so I'm going to hope for energy. It is tough to see what rolls on those clear dice. Really tough to see. I actually rolled 2 potion faces, so those are useless until I re-roll them. Gonna keep a couple of bolts just in case I want to buy the Dwarf Wizard. That's the uncommon Dwarf Wizard. It's not the one that everyone runs in the meta, where you can name a character and wipe its card text. This is actually the one that every time you play an action die, it gets +2/+2. So I buy a Fireball, and I Red Dragon Globaled to do so. Then I'm going to pay 3 here to buy one of those 2 Dwarf Wizards that I brought. He's going to go ahead and PXG a lot of dice over. And I'm going to end my turn. Let's see what he ends up drawing here. So he has 3 out of 4 dice, and one of them is Alfred. Alfred character. And the other character is Injection Fairy Lily. Let's see if he rolls them. So he got both characters here. Let's see, and he has a sidekick as well, so let's see what he goes about doing here. Doesn't have that save civilians, that stayed in the bag, it looks like. Got a lot of energy to spend. He's going to field all 3 of those, and I still have an open board. So I know, because I have such a low character count on my team, that I'm going to have to end up taking a lot of his damage that he fields early. I brought Magic Missile, so I technically could ping out some of those sidekicks, but looks like he's doing a little bit of that for me by reducing the cost via the Blue Eyes White Dragon Global that I brought. I'm going to move over those 4 dice, try to keep my bag as low as possible, because I really need to get to some of those characters, to the Doctor Strange and to the Elf Wizard. I really need to get to those, so I need to keep my bag as low as possible. He'll attack with just a puny little 1/3 Injection Fairy Lily, and I'll take it. Have to. One of my dice runs away. And so I have 1 of 2 Magic Missiles that landed. See if I can get the character. I got the character, but not a second Magic Missile. Okay, so I'm going to have to pay 2 energy to field Doctor Strange here. So I do. That leaves me with 2 generic, a couple masks, and the ability to deal 4 damage to his face. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, dealing 4 damage. 2 from the Magic Missile and 2 from Doctor Strange's character ability. I pass priority over to him here in a second, but first let's see if I want to buy anything else. So the decision to buy something or not buy something is kind of interesting here. I could buy something, or I could basically move every single one of those sidekick dice over if I don't buy anything. So I'm going to Red Dragon Global and then pay to buy a Prismatic Spray, which won't help too much in this matchup, except unless he ends up buying the Foot Ninja, or he gets that angel out and just has the angel stay out, because then that buff drops and all of his characters drop back to 1/1s. So I pass priority and in my turn. He's got a sidekick, he's got that save civilians and an April, and there's that angel. So he could have a potentially big turn here because he's rolling a lot of sidekick dice on top of those 4 that he drew. Ooh, and he's got a great turn set up. Because he has 2 sidekicks. He's got April, who's an ally, so she's going to count as a sidekick in the field. And he's got the Angel, so they're all going to get +1/+1, including that Alfred that is already out in the field. What he'll do with the other energy, I'm not so sure about. He's going to reroll 3 energy. He's going to end up with a couple of masks or question marks that he plans on using for masks. Uses save civilians. He's going to push everything out. So here's an interesting thing. I think whenever you use save civilian, it implies until the end of the turn, whenever you field a sidekick, which means I believe that he should have prepped 2 dice over, because it lasts. It's a static effect that lasts, kind of like a big entrance. I end up doing that later. We'll see if that is the correct way. If you guys know, if that's incorrect, please let me know. If that is correct, please let me know. So he's going to swing at me with those 4 characters. So calculating the damage, because I want to just take this all. I want his board to be clear, and I want him to have to cycle as much as possible to get back to a scary board state where he's going to swing at me. So I actually end up taking 10, dropping myself to 5 here. So he's gonna have to plug away and work through his bag again, but he's got me in dire straits. I have 3 action dice here, so I can conceivably deal him a ton of damage. Now, essentially, I could win the game here, and I might need to. If I don't get what I need here, he's going to have a good chance of killing me next turn, because he doesn't have much in the bag. A couple of sidekicks, and then he's going to have to reload. Alright, so I end up with 2 actions, and I think I might have just enough to get there. Since his board is open, I ping him for 4. I can play that, which does 2, so that puts fast on Doctor Strange, but it won't matter because he has nothing in the field. And luckily, he brought anger issues, so I can actually also throw a fist on him and swing out. And that is just barely enough, well, just 1, maybe 2 over, to go ahead and attack him and kill him. And that deals just enough damage to take him all the way down. So it was a really back and forth game, very close there at the end, because if I hadn't pulled that out, then he was going to take that first game. So that's game 1. I'm up 1-0 in the series. Thanks for watching.